Young Tarzan beat.
Hello my YouTube family, welcome back to my channel, Cooking Vegan with Kim. So today I'm so excited because I'm going to be trying something different today. I'm going to be doing stuffed pineapples. So this is my first time trying this dish, so I hope it turns out great. You can stuff your pineapples with whatever you want to, but these are the ingredients that I'm going to be stuffing my pineapples with. So I have some extra firm organic tofu. I'm going to be making a dirty type rice. So with this rice, I have some yellow rice here. And in my rice, I'm going to be adding some carrots, tomatoes, a bell pepper, red bell pepper, sweet onion, minced garlic. Of course, these are the pineapples that I will be stuffing. And I have some mushrooms. If you guys don't know by now, you know that I love cooking with mushrooms. But if you don't like mushrooms, you can omit that from your dirty rice. Also, I'm going to be marinating my extra firm organic tofu in this Lowry's Hawaiian marinade. I thought it would go great since we're using a tropical theme with the pineapples here. So we're gonna see how this turns out. My seasonings that I'm going to be using for today is my Everglades seasoning. If you guys have never tried this seasoning, go check it out. I love it. Again, it's great on your vegetables, great in rice. Try it out. I love it. I'm going to be using some paprika. I'm going to be using some Old Bay seasoning, and because I kind of want to give it, because normally when people say, oh, I'm going to be cooking some dirty rice, they add shrimp and they add sausage, but since I'm vegan, I'm not going to be using those ingredients, but I'm going to give it that seafood type seasoning type taste with this Old Bay seasoning that I'm going to be using. Then I'm going to be using garlic salt, coriander, some ground black pepper, some accent, and of course I will be using my 100% natural salt just to wake up the flavor. So guys, stay tuned as we make this dish for the first time together. Alright guys, so I'm back, and as you can see here, I just went ahead and prepared my ingredients. So I chopped up the red bell pepper, the green bell pepper, carrots, I have my sweet onions here, and I have my tomatoes. Okay, so I marinated the tofu in the Lowry's Hawaiian marinade sauce. And also, while I was cutting up my pineapple, I also drained the pineapple juice from the pineapples into my tofu as well. And I added a little bit of organic cane sugar. I just added probably about like a tablespoon of organic cane sugar just to give it like a sweet taste. Also, I have my mushrooms here, which I have also marinated in my Lowry's Hawaiian sauce. And I added about a tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning to my mushrooms as well. And in my tofu, I added the Everglades seasoning as well as the accent, and I also added some paprika to this as well, and I used about a half a tablespoon of each seasoning. Okay, so now I'm going to get started with my rice. I'm going to turn my oven on here to a medium heat. As you can see, I have my pineapples already cut open, ready for my dish. I took out some broccoli and corn because I'm also going to add that to my dirty rice. Okay, so I'm going to get my measuring cup here, and I am going to add about, you can use however much rice you want depending on how much you want to cook for your family. So I am going, with all the ingredients that I'm going to be putting in here, I think I'm going to do about 2 cups. 2 cups of yellow rice here. And I'm gonna just go ahead on and just make sure and pour this on over in there. And I'm going to use about, with every 2 cups of rice, you want about 4 cups of water or whatever liquid that you're using. Here I'm using an organic vegetable broth. And I'm going to use the whole thing. It gave me about 3.5 cups. So on that last cup, I'll just add some water. H2O. I'm gonna add a cup of water to it since it did not give me the full cup. I mean, full 4 cups that I needed for my rice. I'm gonna give this a stir just to make sure that it's evenly distributed throughout my liquid. Okay, now I'm going to add all of my ingredients that I have.
Young Tarzan beat.
And I'm going to add my mushrooms that have been marinating for about 20 minutes now. I think that's about good enough because I did not chop them up. I just kind of left them whole. So that's looking good. And so this is going to cook. As that begins to cook, I'm going to add some broccoli to my dish, as well as some corn to my dirty rice here. And I have some broccoli florets. I'm not gonna add a whole lot, just enough. That's about good. I think that's good enough. If you like broccoli, you can add more, but I just think this is a good enough considering all the other ingredients that I have in my rice. And I'm going to add some kettle corn as well. Put about a half a cup. All right, and so now I'm going to let this cook. And again, I have it on medium heat. It's gonna come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to begin the simmering process of it. So now I'm gonna just move these out of the way here. I'm gonna throw these back in my freezer. Now, just gonna move all this up to the side here. Now I have my tofu that has also been marinating about the last 20 minutes. I like my tofu to be kind of hard. I don't like it when it's soft. So I'm gonna cook this for a good little minute to kind of get the, drain some of that water off. And then I'm probably going to cook it on top of the stove for a few more minutes to give it a crispy type texture and add some extra brownness to it. I'm going to toss this into the oven, and I'm going to let this cook down as well. If you want, with your other ingredients, which I think that I will, with my vegetables and things, I think that I will add them to my tofu. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think that I will, just to give it some more flavoring. It's not gonna hurt. It's all very good for you. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Remember guys, this is the first time that I'm actually making this. This is not the first time I'm making this dirty rice, but seasoning this tofu here with the different seasonings is going to be my first time, and stuffing them in a pineapple is also the first time. So I think I did pretty good with cutting those pineapples up for the first time like that. So I'm going to just take some of my bell peppers here and just put it on my tofu, and take some sweet onion here, just toss it on top of it as well. And I'm going to take some of my red bell peppers here as well and toss that on top of that, and some garlic, y'all. Just spread that over. And I'm going to give it a rough toss. Looks pretty good there. That rice is starting to smell really good. All right, so I'm going to toss this back in here. I'm gonna let that cook down. Okay, so as this begins to boil, I'm gonna let it boil without the top on it, and then once it begins to boil up, I'm gonna turn it down to a simmer so that the rice can cook all the way through, the vegetables can cook all the way through, and at that time I'm gonna cover it with the lid. So I'll be back, guys. All right, guys, so I'm back, and as you can see, my dirty rice has finished cooking. So I just covered it up. Once it started to boil, I just covered it up so that it can simmer, and it's still actually simmering, just to make sure that all the liquid has completely dissolved from the rice. And as you can see, I went ahead and started to cook up my remaining mushrooms that I will be using for another dish, probably on tomorrow. So I have my tofu in the oven here, and I'm just gonna check on it just to see. And I'm gonna give it a stir to see how we're doing here. Okay. So I'm going to take this out of the oven, and I am going to finish cooking it on the stove, just so that it can get a little hard. I'm gonna turn my stove on here to a medium heat, and I'm going to go ahead and take this out. All right, I'm gonna set this over here because I don't want to burn my countertop because it is hot. Then I've already taken my pan out. Right that there. And I'm going to just bring this right on over. hopefully this turns out right, because like I said, this is the first time that I'm cooking this tofu like this in this marinade. So it's not really dissolving the way that the liquid's not dissolving as the way that I want it to. So hopefully my tofu turns out to be pretty great. So we'll see. Trial and error, y'all. Trial and error. So I'm just going to kind of shake that up there. Alright guys, so here it is. This is the finishing touch of my stuffed pineapple. I think it turned out to be pretty nice. So I'm going to dig into it to see just how it tastes. I'm going to take one of them myself. Doesn't that look good? And I'm going to give one to my son here, Nasir, who's also going to be helping me try this on today. Can you get off the phone, sir?
I'll take your pictures.
All right, let's see.
This is exotic, I like it. Not yet. I ain't gonna lie. It's fine.
This is good, y'all. This is real good.
Hey, yo, Andres.
The flavors are really coming through. This is really, really good. You guys have to try this. I think I did pretty good for the first time with some stuffed pineapple. I'm loving it. You guys have to try it.
Andres, you gotta try this.
My son on the phone, y'all, telling his friends he gotta try it.
You gotta try it.
This is really good.
And plus you vegetarian, so you might like this.
This is really good. All right, guys. So make sure that you try this at home. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will leave the ingredients and the directions on how to prepare this at home down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like. Bye for now.